Alright, so I'm going to sketch this real quick, just some basic lines. Now, one of the things with cloth is that you just need to visualize it, right? What is it doing? So this is the major shape right here, right? This little. So I'm going to sketch that one first. So it's going to come straight up, and then it's going to turn in. So this is this bulge here, right? It's going to turn in this way, and then there's going to be one crease here, and then this one, this line here is going to loop. There's like a little loop in there, okay? And then there's the other form here, and then this line here, and then this flows down, okay? And then here, so this comes out here, and it's gonna come straight down like that. Now roughly, because the camera angle is a little bit different from what I'm seeing, so okay. So from this, the way to shade it is to carefully observe, you know, what a shadow and highlights are. So I'm gonna start with the shadow area, like little creases in there, right? This is really dark, so I'm just gonna start shading it dark. Okay, this is dark here. I'm gonna do just some of the dark areas first. Now it's darkest inside, right? And it kind of fades out right there. Just kind of fades out a little bit. So here, here's another crease inside. In here, see how dark this is? So I'm gonna make that line. Okay. Now for this area here, you gotta envision, like, you know, the way to envision cloth is what happens if you have a line going through this thing, like how will it travel? And you need to be able to see that kind of curvature, right? So the more you see it, the more you understand how this light and shadow works. You can see, like, this area right here, this is light, and then you have the darker areas here. And the important thing that sells this curvature is the reflective light right there. You know, the fact that this is white, you know, shows it that it's round. So when I'm sketching, when I'm shading that, I'm gonna exaggerate. I'm gonna leave that bottom portion right there light. Okay. Now obviously it's exaggerated, but I'm just trying to show you how important that reflective light is. So this whole area is gonna be a little bit darker, right? This is gonna be darkest. Then here, dark. And this whole area is like a little cave in there, so it's dark, and it kind of lines up as you go. Here, sinks in a little bit. It's dark again. Okay, so, and then here, let's see, this is dark. And then there's a rim right here, right? It's a little bit lighter right here. Okay. So you can see by having the reflective light on that edge right there, how that really sells the shape. So when you're doing cloth, that's really important, because the shape of the cloth is so complex. If you don't have that, then it's just gonna look flat. Okay. My hand's a little bit weird because I'm trying to reach around the camera, so just bear with me. So okay, here it's kind of dark, and you see how here, right, this is a lighter area, so you just you can define that shape a little bit if you like. You can do like a light sketch line over it, you know, just to show it, so you know where to shade. So this is dark right here, right? Dark. And then this is light on that edge. Again, it's that reflective light again. I'm gonna exaggerate it. So I'm gonna shade up here. Okay, so this edge right here is a little bit harder, so that's why it's a little bit darker. It's like a really small cylinder, right? If you think about it lighting wise. Here, so you see having that right there, that little bit of reflective light, how that sells the shape to be a hump, and that's important. Dark. And then here, you can see how there's a shadow there. Now it's that shape obviously because the line is actually like going like this, like that, right? So that's why this corner here is darker, and it's kind of, so you can continue that as like a little valley, and it just kind of flans out. And then again, you see there's reflective light on this edge, and that helps to sell the shape that this is, like a round shape, right? Kind of going over the edge. So when you're shading it, you gotta leave a little bit of that highlight still there, and it's best if you can just leave the paper white as opposed to erasing later, I guess. Okay, so I'm just gonna shade this up real quick. Okay, so you see how that little, that reflective light and just a little bit of valley, shading it there, and that helps you get all this intricate shape of it, going in and out. And that's what, that's how you shade cloth. It's just a lot of observation. You just got to make the correct observation, and it's better to exaggerate the reflective light than to go too subtle, just so that it will help you to sell the curvature a little bit better. So here's like a little bit darker because it pinches. So a little area like that really helps. I mean, and as you're doing it, that's it's just like sketching in general. You go light and then you go darker and darker. And as you're shading, you're gonna start seeing more and more just different variations that you might not see at the beginning. That's why if you go light, as you're doing it, you're gonna see more and more stuff, and that way you won't make too many mistakes. There's nothing wrong with going slow. Darker here, reflective light. Just a little bit harder edge right here. This comes in. See, there's a little bit of reflective light on this one too, because this is a ridge itself. So it's getting there. I mean, if you excuse my weird, awkward drawing position, but okay. So that would be an example on how to shade cloth. All right. So to recap on how to shade cloth. First thing you need to do is be able to visualize the, how the cloth is folding in and out. So just try to imagine, as if there's a line here, how it's gonna go, how it's gonna come up, and it's gonna come back down. So you can kind of visualize that in your drawing too, as you're doing it. Try to understand where, how this thing is folding in and out. And the second thing is really important, because there's a lot of looping. There's a lot of reflective lights. It's kind of like a cylinder, right? If you have a, how they shade a cylinder, you have your terminator, and then there's always some reflective light there, your light source right here, and then you got the shadow because the light's reflecting back. So it's the same way here, these are just basically the little cylinders. So that's why you really need the reflective light. And the third thing is really important to have contrast, because that helps pop certain things up. You see how if I make this a little bit darker, this area right here, if I do that, this edge comes right out, right? Because the white always pops out from the dark, from the black. So if I accentuate this, this edge kind of pops out a little bit more, right? So it's those little contrasts that will really help you, help your drawing sell the shape that there's all these things going on, in and out, in and out. So there's a lot of observation. It's just like drawing anything else. But there's certain things about cloth that you just need to keep in mind. So give this a shot and see how it goes, and I'll see you next time.